And so harmony, in fact, so there is this quote. Georges Moustaki was a great composer of in French also, sorry, with Edith Piaf and all that. And he said this thing is great. He said all the Brazilians knows all the complex chords, but they are completely unable to play the simple ones. It's actually true, because if you look at the bossa nova, you never have like a major or a triad, you know, or you never have this. The minimum you can have is this, with the minor sevens, but it's very rare. There is one song by John Gilberto with this very strange. Usually it's at least this. That is minor 7, 9. It's a minimum they can do, you know. But the B minor, no way. Okay. So I will skip all the. There is a very interesting controversy in the academics world about bossa nova being a mix of jazz and Debussy. Many people say it's not true. I don't know. I will just give you some examples of the Brazilian guitar harmony. C major. I think this is the nicest example. Again, C major is this. C major in Brazil is this.
Chord.
Huh?
Chord.
Yeah, one of them. So no root, no C in the root. First inversion, 6 and 9. And no C actually. It's a C major, there is no C in there. You can check. Works, but it's really Brazilian is about getting rid of the root, basically. As very often. Okay. Many other inventions, many others. The one I think are most interesting, this thing. Well, this thing you can call it a lot of things. You can say it's an A minor with a sixth. You can say it's a D7-9, bass A. You can say many things, whatever. This is a Brazilian thing. Corcovado starts. Okay, there is a very Brazilian thing that is which has no name. It's called either F over G or something over the sevens, or 7, 9, 11, or sus13. You know that. Usually followed by its friend with the minor with a flat 9. So Ivan Lins uses all the time. Again. This one, so very dissonant. There is nothing more dissonant than this thing. But if you add an E and this, it becomes very nice actually. And then if you want to do 2-5, you know, followed by A7, you will not play that. You will play A5, FA7 with a flat 5, or this. So always adding a lot of stuff so that you can recognize a tonal idea, but remove all the obvious notes, you know.
And just a story I told you before. For chord sequences that sound Brazilian, in fact, I was a long time ago and was starting to play guitar, and my mother listened to me playing this. And she said, "This is bossa nova." It's like this sequence is only used in bossa nova thing, and it's really used a lot.
So this thing is the bossa nova invention. Minor 9. It's really very beautifully played in this song by John Gilberto. If it works. I don't have it. Okay, so let's keep it. Okay. So the same way they are not able, you Brazilian are not able to play a triad C major, you're not also able to play a D major. Look, G major is this thing. Look. Okay, like. No, they cannot play this, they will play this. It's the same idea actually, but a different voicing. So this is D major. Now what's really interesting is So this D major, you can play. And Bossa Nova is very much about movement. It's not, as Giordano said, is right. You cannot do this for 1 hour. So you will do this. So it's about moving all, playing all these nice chords together, not only one of them. Something that's really Brazilian. Sorry, maybe it's not interesting for you, but when you have a 7th chord, you will of course add 9, 13, and you will raise the bass by 1 semitone. Brazilian never played a 7th chord with the root. Always they lift it a little bit, so it becomes a kind of diminished chord. So you don't, instead of playing like, they will play A sharp, which is not there. So the 9, the flat 9 at the bass. It's really only Brazilian. Just an example, because it's very nice. The last one, this thing. Can I have a little bit more sound? This is a commanded 9, so it's a chord that is used in hard rock, This chord. It's a chord that Jimi Hendrix used and many others. So here in Bossa, it's used as a passing chord. It's very nice. It's used as a chord to go to resolve to the chord that is just 1 semitone higher, like. So you will do this. So for instance, C major. You see? So you will do in passing something that's actually used for a completely different purpose than what it's supposed to do. In fact, it is used as a diminished chord. Okay, and many other. This you want to show?
Yes. The idea to show these songs is to show that this cannot be played with simple chords. Many songs you can just take off many of the dissonances, like this François just showed. You can normally play like this. You can normally, but a song like this one.
Era era dois, era 100, era o mundo chegando e ninguém que soubesse que eu sou violeiro, que me desse seu amor, o dinheiro. Era era dois, era 100, era encantar. E você de onde vai, de onde vem, diga logo o que tem pra contar, parado no meio do mundo.
The chords are like this. So all the chords are rich and very rich, and it's not a simple chord that got some enrichments. How do they say this? Yes. François will give a talk tomorrow, and we'll talk about this.
Yeah, I think we have to cut a lot of stuff here. We didn't want to be talking only about the old dead or almost dead people like Jobim and John Gilberto is not dead, but and of course there are lots of new guys. So what's interesting is not only to say okay, it's evolving, of course, but it's also interesting to see how they relate, those new guys, to everything we have said. And so there is this guy, Tonino Horta. So Pat Metheny thinks he's the most incredible a guitar harmonicist, and he said something like, he's able to write chord progressions that defy gravity. And it took me a while to actually find an example that was really easy to understand for someone who does not play guitar every day, And I think this song called Beijo Partido is really such an example. So I will play the beginning with the score and just show you. So you look at the chord, listen how unusual it is, and at the same time how very tonal. So that is, the guy is never losing the tonal center, but is of course trying to trick you all the time with strange stuff, but it's very, very, very controlled. It's not just playing, strange chords at random.
Essa minha loucura e digo, eu não gosto de quem me arruína em pedaços, e Deus é quem sabe de ti, e eu não mereço um beijo partido. Hoje não passa de um dia perdido no tempo, sei, não se fala mais nisso, eu sei. Eu serei pra você o que não me importa saber. Hoje não passa de um vaso quebrado no peito e grito.
I mean, if you don't know this song, you can study it. It's perfect because it's really in E minor. It goes like. So the first chord, I will just play the fourth chord just to give you an idea. So A sus, then major 7 with flat 5, 7 flat 5, chord I will. Always strange chord, but the thread is never broken. It's really very, very impressive, very interesting. And to me, it's just a natural continuation of Villa-Lobos. I mean, he's just trying to push this thing, of course, farther, of course. So we wanted, we'll skip that part, but to show that Brazilian guitar is not only accompaniment, as we have actually shown, really, but it's also a solo guitar very often, and sometimes something that is really Brazilian is kind of intermediate. Not really solo, not really accompaniment, but in between. Like Baden-Powell, which was really one of the great guitar hero of Brazil, and who lived in France. Anyway, but many others. So Tonino Horta also is almost a solo, although he sings, of course. But I can show you this guy if you don't know. So it's very virtuoso, but it's everything we have talked about. Nice, strange chord progression, virtuosity, melodies, rhythms, really pushed very far with a 7th string. Egberto Gismonti is also. I think we will skip. We don't have the time, and probably you know these guys already. Just one last example. Lenin. We have talked about this guy before. He's doing a kind of rock, very, very simple riff. But even the simple riff, he cannot use a normal standard chord. He has to invent something. What is this thing? What is this chord?
Muito do que eu faço, não penso, me lanço sem compromisso. Vou do meu compasso, danço, não cansa ninguém cobiço. Tudo que eu te peço. É por tudo que fiz, sei que mereço. Eu sei que mereço. Eu posso e te confesso. Você não sabe dar-me isso um terço. Tanto choro e pranto.
Okay, very nice song. But the first chord, actually the only chord, is this thing. So dissonance, like Villalobos. It's a minor chord, but the bass, as you have seen, is 1/3. Where did he find this thing? So I think there is a gene, you know, in the guitar, Brazilian guitar, to always look for dissonant chord of a very specific kind. Is unique. No one else in the guitar world is really doing that kind.